to this posture check. My name is Sarah, and today I'm going to be guiding you through a flow to adjust and align the root chakra, the lower part of the body, from the lower spine, pelvis, hips, down through the knees, feet, and ankles. So we're going to begin at the top of our mat in mountain pose, feet grounded and stable, and chest lifted up towards the sky, reaching the crown up, palms facing forward. We're going to take 3 big breaths, just sitting into the body, feeling any spaces of tension, any places where we're wobbling. And on the next inhale, we're going to take a big breath in, hands overhead, and begin with some sun salutations. So inhaling up to exhale to a forward fold, you can bend through the knees, releasing through the spine. We're going to inhale for a halfway lift, lengthen through the spine, and exhale back down to forward fold, sending one leg back for a low lunge. Lifting the chest up, opening up through the front side of the body with an inhale. And exhaling, frame the foot with the hands and send the front foot to meet the back. Plank. Strong body, engaging the core. That's a big part of this flow, is to engage through the core. Stay nice and strong to support the lower back so that we may stretch properly through the lower body. Finishing out that sun salutation with a chaturanga and meeting back in downward dog. Pedal it out, and on your next inhale, you can look up towards the front of your mat and step the same foot up to the front, back through a low lunge. We're going to make our way back to standing. Follow your own breath, letting the back foot meet the front now for a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, big release. And grounding through the mat to inhale up, back to center for a reset, and going to the other side, following the same exact flow, meeting back in downward dog. Follow your own breath pattern. And as we move through the flow this time, bring some focus to the way your breath is moving through your body. Allow every inhale to bring space to the body, lengthen through the spine, open up through the hips, the shoulders. And every exhale, allow your body to relax deeper into whatever stretch you're in. Allow that muscle to relax and release any tension that's being held there. And follow that cycle with every single pose. Inhale, lengthen, create space. Exhale, release, and relax. Meeting back in downward dog, pedaling out the legs. Just find some comfort here. We're going to inhale, look up in between the hands, lift up onto the toes, and we're going to brace through the core to gently lower the knees down, coming to all fours. And we're going to take a big release back into child's pose, just pressing the hips back to the heels. You can open the knees up a little bit and rest your body over top of your legs. Reaching the forehead towards the floor, lengthening through the spine, taking 3 big breaths here. On the 4th inhale, looking up in between the hands, shifting back up onto all fours, and being sure that we're sitting in good alignment. So making sure that the shoulders directly over the elbows and over the wrists, supporting yourself with all 10 fingertips, and that the hips are directly over the knees with the feet and ankles coming directly out from the knees. Very supported, stable through the core, stable through the lower spine. We're going to reach one leg back, in an inhale, and then exhale to send it forward into a low lunge. We're going to open up the hips here and through the legs a little bit more. So lift that chest up, taking 3 big breaths to really open up the hips and keep them in good alignment at the same time. So hips are squared off, pressing both equally forward together while lifting up out of the hips, supported by the core. Lengthening through the hip flexor now, just lifting the same arm as the back leg to really get deep into the hip flexor, which is the front side of the hip, into the psoas. This is where we store a lot of that trauma, that tension. And after 3 big breaths in both of those positions, we're going to send the hips back to stretch through the hamstring on the front leg. So once again, lifting up out of the hips, you saw me do that motion, lengthening through the spine to create space to really lengthen through the back side of the leg, the glute, all the way down into the calf. After 3 big breaths there, we're going to take it back up through low lunge, send the front leg to meet the back in all 4s, and send it back to child's pose to reset with 3 big breaths. You can take 1 exhale out of the mouth for a big release. And on the 4th breath, looking up in between the hands to come back up onto all 4s. We're going to inhale, lengthen through the other leg now to send it forwards on the exhale, stepping into low lunge, lifting the chest up to the sky, and if it is available to you, lifting the arms up over the head this time to take those 3 breaths. Lifting up out of the hips once again, create that space, and exhale deeper into this alignment stretch. Now moving into the hip flexor for 3 breaths, lengthening up out of the hip of the back leg, deep in there with every exhale. And sending the hips back to stretch through the back side of the front leg now. Lengthen through the spine so that you can really get deep into the glute, the hamstring, and the calf. You can move the leg around and feel how the different sides of your leg have different tension points. And moving back through our low lunge, coming through all 4s to send it back to child's pose once again. Taking 3 big breaths. You can exhale out the mouth on the last one. To come back up to all 4s once again, sending the first leg back on an inhale, lengthen, and taking it forward on an exhale. We're sitting into Pigeon Pose this time. So send the foot to the opposite hand, knee to the same hand as leg, and we're going to sit tall up out of the hips, demonstrating where you're going to feel this stretch mainly. And yeah, lift up out of those hips, support yourself with that lower core and lower spine, and really allow yourself to sit deeply right into those hips. After 3 big breaths there, we're going to bend the back leg in and straighten the front leg, taking a quad stretch now. So untuck the pelvis, really lengthen through the front side of the body now. Once again, supporting yourself with the lower core, protecting the lower spine, and reaching up out of the top of the head. You're going to feel a deep stretch through the front side of the leg, up into the hip here. Flexing through the foot will also help you keep good alignment. If you have sensitive knees, I would not recommend this stretch. Always do what's available to you in your body. Gently making our way back up to a seated position, we're going to unwind that back leg so that both legs are straight out in front of us. And we're just going to sit up tall. Untuck your seat bones once again. Sit up out of your hips, supported with the core. Lengthen through the spine, up out of the top of the head. And also lengthen out through the bottoms of the heels, through the legs. Taking 3 big breaths here. And then hugging the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big hug. We're going to take 3 rolls. Give yourself a massage on your back, on your spine. Roly-poly. These were my favorite things to do when I was young in every class I took. Even in yoga classes I got older. And after that 3rd roll, we're going to set the hands down in front of us and walk or hop the feet back into our all fours position once again to repeat on the other side. So lengthening through the other leg now. On an inhale, exhale, step that foot into Pigeon Pose. Relaxing those hips down into the stretch. Lengthen up out of the hips, supporting with the spine and the core. You're probably sick of me saying it, but this is a posture session. So it's very important. That's the most important part. Create that space with the inhales and exhale deeper into the stretch. After 3 breaths, lengthening through the front leg, bending the back leg in, and sitting the upper body back. You can even lay down in this stretch, but I just recommend taking it slow and working your way into a reclined position. So starting on your hands is best and just lowering down gently until you get to a space that feels like a good stretch for you. Once again, lengthening through the front side of the body, through the quad and the hip flexor. 3 big breaths. And slowly making our way back up to a seated position. Unwinding that bent leg and coming to our seated, aligned position. Test your posture. Sitting tall, lengthen the spine, crown reaching up towards the sky. Root, nice and rooted, lengthening towards the ground. Feel that opposition in the spine. Hugging those knees into the chest once again. We're going to take those rolls, really massage through the spine. If you like spending time upside down, this is a good time to do that and prop those hips up for a second. And making our way back through to an all fours position. Becoming nice and aligned again. We're going to take a little bit of a more intense workout move here now. So pressing the floor away with a brace. We're going to brace through the core, lift the knees up off the ground, and inchworm walk the hands into the knees until your heels come flat to the ground into a squatting position. Lifting the arms up over the head into that full squat. Standing all the way up, squat back down, and track back through. We're going to take 3 of these fully all the way through. So find a breathing pattern that works for you. I recommend exhaling to press the floor away, and then from there just kind of breathe through everything else. Feel the floor under your feet in this squat. Feel nice and grounded and stable. Drop the hips back. And trust the earth below you. Keeping the knees nice and aligned over the toes. Knees also coming straight out from the hips. And once again, supporting that lower back with the lower core. Tracking everything with good alignment here. This is why we opened up the hips and the legs and made all of that space in the body, is to be able to move in alignment. So building good alignment with natural things that we do every day, natural things that we're doing at the gym or whatever we do for our workouts, running, anything. Keeping the knees over the toes. Tracking the knees out from the hips. When we're doing push-ups or anything, making sure that the shoulders are being supported by the elbows, the chest, the upper back, and even the hands and the fingertips. After a couple of breaths in Child's Pose, we're going to roll up into Hero's Pose, so just kneeling straight on our knees. And we're going to squeeze everything in together. So take a big inhale and scoop up through the hips, squeeze the knees together, squeeze the glutes together, squeeze the feet together, the legs, thighs, quads, hamstrings, calves, everything together. Squeeze, 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 and exhale to release. We're going to take 3 of those, as big of breaths as you can possibly take, as big of a squeeze as you can possibly squeeze, and as big of a release as you can possibly relax. Moving on, we're going to take a camel pose to just open up through the front side of the body once more. Once again, if your knees are sensitive, I would not participate in this exercise. Placing the hands behind the feet, fingertips pointing towards the feet, lifting up with the core, open up the chest, shoulders away from the ears, and lengthen through the front side of the body. And slowly releasing back down, meeting in a butterfly pose. So the bottoms of the feet together, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders rolled down the back, lengthening up out of the crown while sitting rooted through the mat. Grounding here before taking 3 flows of cat and cow. So exhale to round out the spine. Exhale through the core. And then inhale to sit up nice and tall, open up through the front side of the body. Breathe deeply down into the belly. Back and forth 3 times, and then releasing, forward fold over the legs. Just feel through your hips in this position. You can round through the spine or lengthen up out of it using your hands. Just breathing through. And once you've spent some time there, we're going to slowly roll down onto our backs, keeping the legs in this butterfly position. Rolling the spine down, vertebrae by vertebrae, until you get to your head. Taking 3 big breaths. Nice and open. You can have the hands open beside you, on your womb space, your lower belly, up on your heart, and just relax there, finding stillness with the upper body. After 3 breaths, we are going to bring the knees together, nice and slowly, until they are touching. we're going to slowly walk the feet outwards towards the sides of the mat until they are on the edges of the mat or maybe a little bit wider. And then allow the knees to fall in towards each other. You might notice that one knee falls in naturally more than the other. These are our little misalignments and what we are trying to notice and adjust today. So take note and put it into practice in your life. Allow a big release through the hips, this internal rotation. And after 3 big breaths here, walking those feet back together until you come to a neutral position and allowing the legs to fall out in front of you. You're in corpse pose. Arms can fall wherever they're most comfortable, by your sides, on your belly, or on your heart. Settling into Savasana now. Allowing our bodies to absorb all of the adjustments and alignment, opening and releasing that we just did for it. This is a digestion for the muscles. So relaxing the feet, the ankles, release any tension being held on there. Allow any tension left in the knees, the hamstrings, the quads, the calves to just run down the legs and out the bottom of the feet. No tension left in the legs. With your next exhale, allow the tension to release from your pelvis. Untuck the hips. Release any tension in the glutes, the hip flexors. Just allow everything to fall heavy from the waist down. Inhale deeply into the belly and exhale to release deeply through the lower spine. Find relaxation in that spot that supports us all day, every day. Allow your ribs to just move naturally with your breath. Your belly to just rise and fall naturally with your breath. Feel your body become in tune with your internal rhythms. Allow your shoulders to release and fall away from your ears, down towards the floor, opening up the chest, creating space for the neck, and releasing the head heavy to the floor. Shake your head no. Relaxing through your neck even more deeply. Unclench your teeth and release any tension in the jaw. Allow your tongue to relax and all of those muscles around your ear and your neck. So just let everything fall away. Releasing any tension through the eyebrows, cheeks, the forehead. And take one more big inhale in. And exhale out of your mouth. Feeling your body laying still, heavy, and completely in itself. Feel the adjustments and the alignments being worked into your cells, being processed by your body and integrated into your movements so that you can practice this good alignment in your everyday life. And find a peace within the mind for the next few moments, truly allowing for a rest and digest period for the body. If your mind starts to wander, just focus back in on the breath and connecting it as your internal rhythm to the body, your external physical outlet. Our senses. We're going to bring some attention back to the breath, touching our fingertips together, wiggling our toes, roll out the wrists and the ankles, slowly waking up the body. Reach those arms up overhead, bring the knees up and in. Make our way back to a comfortable seated position, rolling over onto our side and pressing back up. Thank you for being here. Thank your body, thank your mind. Namaste. I'll see you next time.